Hello everyone, I'm Aurora. Welcome to Sage and Squirrel. Today we're gonna make some sourdough chocolate chip cookies. Let's go. Okay, so we are gonna start. So to begin, we're gonna grab half a cup of discard. This is mine straight from the fridge. Oh god. I'm gonna give it a mix. Okay, half a cup of sourdough discarded. I just baked with this a few days ago, so it's not active, but also not active. I think in the background of every one of these videos, till we get a new oven, you will hear my dog crying because she is just offended by beeps. And this oven beeps when it is ready, and it just triggers her. She's just really triggered about it, so that's what that is. That's why you hear this crying in the background. We're gonna do half a cup of vegan butter, or I'm gonna use coconut oil because I don't have vegan butter, and I like to use things that are the least processed as possible. So half melted coconut oil, or butter, or margarine. I love when you just clean the kitchen and then you decide to bake something, or and it will just all be a mess again. Okay, and then we're gonna add vanilla extract. So this, my fiance made this. He made this a couple years ago, so he just put a few vanilla pods in some kind of alcohol. Okay, I can't open this, so we're not going to use this, never mind. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla. The recipe says to mix it, or beat it up with like a hand mixer, but I don't have sugar in this, so it seems useless, so I'm not gonna do that. So I'm just mixing it up so there's no big chunks, because my starter is cold, so it is kind of getting the coconut oil to solidify, which is okay, because it would be a similar texture if you added sugar, kind of this grainy texture. Okay, now that that's done, we're going to add a cup of oats. My fiance requested chocolate chip oatmeal cookies a couple weekends ago, and I made these for him, and then I made muffins the last weekend, and I didn't have chocolate chips in them, and so I'm gonna make these as kind of a surprise. It's kind of a surprise because he's home right now, and once he comes downstairs he will see what I'm doing, and I will also tell him. A cup of flour, I'm also gonna dump some hemp in. I'm not really gonna measure, I'm just gonna, teaspoon of baking powder. I have always loved baking. I kind of forgot about it as an adult, but as a child it was one of my favorite things to do, especially with my aunt and grandma. And so it's really exciting to be an adult and have all of the choices that an adult person has, and be able to bake and make incredible things, because it's like exploring, but then you also get to eat it, Okay, half a teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm maybe gonna do even a bit less, just because my fiance doesn't love cinnamon, just a little strong. Half a teaspoon of salt. I hope that's not too much cinnamon. Half a teaspoon of stevia. So this stevia is 100% just stevia. There's no extra added anything in it. I'll put a link in the description. It's just from Amazon, but it's just been a nice kind of alternative, a natural alternative to sugar. I've been trying to cut out really highly processed sugar, so I've been using like maple syrup and honey, and mainly this. But yeah, this has been pretty good, and this recipe calls for, I think, 3/4 cup of sugar, but I just use half a teaspoon of this. And chocolate chips, measure with your heart. So now we're gonna mix this up, but not overmix it. So just make sure all the wet is kind of worked in with the dry. Okay, so now we have kind of a rough, kind of dry, but also like it does stick together dough. So we're gonna divide it into 12 balls. Now, because I'm using this little oven, I can't fit a big pan in it, so we're gonna split it into 2. I'm just gonna take a 1 tablespoon and scoop it out and see, just divide it. So going back to the remembering things that you enjoyed as a child, I highly recommend that. I think it's something that can be really soothing for your inner child. It can be really exciting to play in the way that you played as a kid. For a while, I was kind of lost on like, what do I even want to be doing, you know, like with my time. And just remembering what did I love doing as a kid kind of helped me realize where I want to put my energy. Something I loved as a kid is just being outside. Like I loved just being in my mom's garden and laying in the grass and staring up at the clouds. So as much as I can and the weather is good, I spend my time here being outside and gardening. So if you are a little bit lost, this is so dry. I'm gonna put this all back and add more water. Hold on. Okay, I just added like a tiniest bit of water. I'm gonna mix it with my hands. But if you are kind of feeling lost on something that you want to do, whether it's just like a hobby or a passion, or it's like a career, I would try to remember what you liked doing as a kid. And obviously that's gonna change, but maybe some of the core moments or some of the times when you remember that you were really happy, maybe there's a common denominator there. For me, it was being outside and then also eating and baking. And so those are things that I am doing more of in my life now. Okay, this is looking better. It was just too crumbly before, but now it's kind of like this. 12 balls. I feel like these are too big. Okay, once you've scooped out 12, mine are all drastically different sizes. I don't even know if I made 12. I did, but this one is this big and this one's this big. So divide them out kind of equally, and we're just gonna form them into round balls. So I got these 6 ready. We're gonna bake for 8 to 10 minutes. I'm probably gonna do 8 because this oven is quite hot. So 8 minutes. Okay, so these have been baking for 14 minutes. The thing said 8 to 10. I don't know if this oven is also colder, but this is what they look like so far. They aren't supposed to rise or anything too much. So I'm gonna bake the other ones. Okay, second batch is going in. I think the reason why these aren't browning the way that they're supposed to is because of the silicone mat. I feel like it's insulating it. That's just a theory, it could be definitely wrong. We're gonna do 14 minutes again and see how they look. It's been 14 minutes. They look like they're not cooked, but they are. They're just very pale. I say let's try one of the ones that are ready here. A very soft, doughy inside with a crunchier outside. They're good. You also? So here we have it. Sourdough oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. These cookies are sugar-free and very soft and warm on the inside, but then crusty on the outside. So if you want to make these, you can. If not, cool. I would like to hear in the comments about other people who have been kind of on a journey to figure out what they want to do, who they want to be as an adult, and if going back to who you were as a child is helpful or relevant. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for being here.